How's it going, everybody? It is beautiful, stunning weather for February in Oklahoma. It's about 70 degrees out here, so I figured it'd be time to come outside and play some disc golf. So I'm here in Elk City, western Oklahoma. We're playing a course called Yeti's Forest. Now I'm hoping I don't run into a Yeti, but this is mainly a pretty technical, tight 18-hole course with some par 4s and a par 5, so I'm looking forward to it. We're at hole 1. It's 202 feet. Basket is straight down this tunnel, so we're going to take this Lone Star Artemis and try to get down there. Alright, so I made it down there pretty good. Skipped off to the left, but I think we're going to have a look at the basket. Alright, so we did end up getting pin high, but I am stuck inside of some trees here. So we're going to try our best to get a putt through. Oh no. Oh! Oh, unfortunately we didn't make it out of there very well, but you know, we got a tap in par right here. All right, so that is a par on hole 1 here at Yeti's Forest. All right, this is hole 2, 406 feet to the basket. Basket is straight down this fairway. There's a large creek, and then it's on the other side of it. So our goal is to just get up there somewhere so we can throw our second shot over the creek. I'm gonna throw this Lone Star Mad Cat. Alright, that went a little bit more left than I wanted to, but we should be looking at a shot over that creek. The drive landed right here. The basket, you can see that bridge. The basket is just straight down that way. So we're going to try to forehand this copperhead up there and try to give us a look. Oh, I threw it straight into the hill on the other side. But we made it to the other side of the creek, so chances are we're probably looking at a bogey here. Alright, you can see the basket straight ahead of us, so our goal is to just kind of get it up there as close as we can. Alright, cool. We left ourselves just a little putt. Unfortunately, going to be taking a bogey on this one. There's my 4 on hole 2. Alright, so we've made it to hole 3 on the short layout. It is 295 to the basket. The basket is straight down this fairway, and then it's dog-legging to the right. So I'm going to play this with a forehand using this Dos X. Alright, here's where my drive landed. We still need to get around the corner, so I'm going to forehand this horny toad and try to get us up there. Alright, well, we made it around the corner. It's a little shorter than I wanted it to be, but we should be looking at the basket over there. So here's where my upshot landed. Basket is straight through these trees here. I did leave myself a difficult par save, but let's see if we can knock it down. Oh, we got it. So excellent par save. A good 35 feet for that one, it looks like. I'm happy about this one. Let's move on to the next. All right, so we've made it to hole 4. It's 247 to the basket. The fairway kind of merges off to the right there and follows the path. So we're going to try to get up there with our Lone Star Bearcat. Try to throw it on a little bit of a turnover. Alright, so we did catch some of the trees on the left-hand side, but it fell right in the middle of the fairway. So not a bad shot. So let's go see what we're looking at. This is where my drive landed. We got super lucky that we fell in the middle. Basket straight ahead of us. So let's try to drop in our first birdie of the round. Not my best effort, but hey, we should be tapping in a par. All right, our putt landed over here, so let's tap in this par. And that is a par on hole 4. All right, so this is hole 5 here at Yeti's Forest. Thankfully, I have not seen a Yeti yet. It was 70 degrees when I got here, so maybe that weather scared him away. It's 202 feet to the basket. The basket's straight down this wooded tunnel, pretty much dead straight. So your goal is to stay in the middle. So I'm gonna throw this Lone Star Artemis and try to get it up there. Oh, I failed in my goal to keep it in the middle. We hyzered off way early, so let's go see what we're looking at. All right, so I made it to my drive. I'm in the junk. I'm not in view of the basket very well. I'm just gonna take this Lone Star Horny Toad and just try to get it out there just to give myself a look at the basket. That did not go very well. So I'm right here behind this tree. I still have not very good line to the basket, so I'm gonna just try to again get this little forehand around the corner and hopefully give myself a look at the basket. So again, I don't have a very good line at the basket, so I'm going to take this Lone Star Horny Toad and just kind of toss it over there, and hopefully we get around the corner. All right, good. I got it right up by the basket, so we'll be putting, unfortunately, for our bogey. All right, we made it up to our upshot. We're finally in circle 1. The basket's right there. Got a little bit of a death putt behind it, so we're going to try to sink this putt. Oh, fuck. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, so we made it to our upshot. Got about, I don't know, 15, 20 feet to the basket. Let's try to save our bogey. All right, we nailed it. So unfortunately, we're walking away with a bogey on hole 5, but it could always be worse. All right, we've made it to hole 6 here at Yeti's Forest. It's 247 to the basket. Straight down this fairway off to the right. It sets up for a right-hand forehand pretty well. There's this big tree on the right, and then this stuff on the left. Can't even go too high because of the overhanging branches. So we're going to try to throw a low forehand with this Dos Equis and try to get some ground play. So we made it a good ways down the fairway, but we did hit some trees. So let's go see what we're looking at. All right, so we bounced off some trees and we landed right here. The basket is straight ahead of us, past that big fat tree. So I'm gonna just try to pop a little forehand out there and try to give us a look at the basket. Perfect, we landed right up there by the basket. Should be an easy tap in par. All right, we finally get a selfie putt, which is hard to do with a tripod, but here's where our putt landed. Basket's right there. That is a par on hole 6. All right, so I made it to hole 7. It is 250 to the basket. Basket's down this gap here, and then it doglegs off to the left. So I'm going to take this Lone Star Brazos, put it on a little bit of a hyzer, and try to get it down there. All right. right, mission accomplished. We made it straight down the fairway. We even got a nice little kick off the tree. So let's go see what we're looking at. All right, so we made it to our drive, landed right in the middle of this little path. We do have a long birdie look, so let's try to knock it down. Oh, well, we gave it a good bid, so let's go tap in that par. All right, so that is a par on hole 7. So still no sighting of the Yeti, which, you know what, I'm kind of happy about that. All right, this is hole 11 here at Yeti's Forest. It's 166 feet to the basket. Basket straight across here, some trees in the way. The one thing you have to really worry about is there is a very large creek right before you get to the basket, so your goal is to not land in there, obviously. So I'm going to take this Lone Star Artemis and pump it kind of out on a hyzer and hopefully just make it down there close to the basket. All right, so I made it across the creek. I went a little bit long, but it's better to go long on this hole than it is to end up short. So let's go see what we're looking at for our birdie putt. This course plays along a BMX trail. Now, I don't know if you can see how skinny this looks. I couldn't imagine walking across that to get to the basket over there. So we're going to take the long way around. Drive went a little bit long. We ended up on the side of this hill over here, but we still got a good shot at our birdie. And that is a birdie on hole 11. All right, we've made it to hole 13. It's 225 to the basket. Straight ahead of us is that big creek. Then the basket is on the other side with a slight dog leg to the right. But we don't want to go too far down because that creek continues across the bridge. So I'm going to forehand this Dose X over there and hopefully it lands softly. Awesome, that looked really good off the tee. Made it straight across there. Should be looking at the basket for a birdie. I thought I parked this one off the tee, but I came up just a little bit short. We got about 28 to 30 feet to the basket here, so let's try to get this one for a bird. Oh, tap the basket, but not enough. Let's go tap in that par. All right, there's our par on hole 13. All right, we've made it to hole 15 at Yeti's Forest. It's 231 to the basket. The basket is straight down this path, slightly to the right. So I'm going to take this Lone Star Dose X, throw it on a forehand, and hopefully get it down there close. I have hit basket on this one before, so I've got high hopes. All right, so I got down there pretty good. I should be looking at the basket where I landed. Unfortunately, it didn't go in the basket, but it is what it is. All right, so we landed right here. The basket is straight ahead of us, probably a good 35 feet. So we're gonna just try our best to get a birdie here. Try not to get poked by this tree. Oh man, how close was that? Right off the chains. I'm gonna run it again just because I can, but that seems to be my luck recently. Just on these long putts, I've just been hitting the chains, hitting the cage. Oh, no luck. Almost a birdie, almost sank the long putt, but we'll go tap in that par. Close enough to selfie putt, so that is our 3 on hole 15. All right, this is hole 16. It's 204 feet to the basket. It's kind of a tunnel shot. The basket's straight down this path, and then it verges off to the right. It's really thick on either side, so you don't want to land over there. So I'm going to try to throw a light forehand with this Dose X, same one I threw on the last hole, and see if we can skip it up there around the corner. I think we came up a little bit short on that one, but we'll see if we have a look at the basket. So I did make it around the corner. I bounced off some of this brush. I thought I was going to be parked because the basket used to be on this side, but it looks like they moved it over here. So I've got about a 35, 38 footer for my birdie attempt. So let's give it a shot. Oh, and I left it a little bit short, but hey, we should be tapping in a pretty easy par.
Lizard, 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 lizard. Lizard.